Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. In today's video we'll be working on a shelf holder for the refrigerator that I've been putting off fixing for quite a while. And we'll be doing an initial unboxing review of the plastic welder kit from good old Harbor Freight. Thank you all so very much, and this is Double Bits Workshop. Alrighty, so I got this awesome little gift from a good friend of mine on Christmas. And he said, what do you get the guy that's got everything? And he ended up giving me this. It's something I've been keeping an eye on for quite a while. I have probably about 3 or 4 major projects that I'd like to use this for, and I kept threatening getting it and just getting those knocked out. This one actually wasn't on my radar, but my wife thought about it for a second, and open up the refrigerator. We've had this broken shelf on the very bottom for quite some time now. Normally a piece of glass sits on here. We had a pickle jar, a couple gallons of milk, a few different things, the heavier objects you put on the bottom usually, and it ended up actually breaking the back of this here bracket, which is all plastic from the refrigerator. And we just didn't put stuff on the bottom shelf that was too heavy, but if you did in the back, piece of glass would come up. It was not good. So I'm going to be putting that back together and testing out this little plastic welding kit and see if I can get her back in tip-top shape. So follow along and let's have some fun. Alrighty, so this is the 80-watt iron plastic welding kit from Harbor Freight. Item number 60662. Retails for $17.99 currently at good old Harbor Freight. You get basically everything that's in the picture here. The welding iron, you get a couple metal meshes here so that way the heat can transfer, a couple of plastic sticks that you're going to be using for the welding, a wire brush, and a stand. So let's do the initial unboxing of it. So pretty straightforward. Like I listed before, you have your iron. Has a little pyramid shape here for where all the heat transfers to onto the tip. Has a nice little rubberized grip with an LED to let you know if it is on or off. You have screws to adjust and take out and fix anything if you get plastic down in here or anything like that. It is actually maintainable, which is nice. You don't have rivets or anything that doesn't really seem like you couldn't get in there if you needed to. As for the standardized wire, we have a little adjustment kind of keeper for the cord, and it looks to be, let's see here, I think this is a 6-foot cord, or it might be, let's see, if they count the unit itself, it looks like it's roughly around 5 foot to 6 foot. It might be just around 6 foot. So the manual, we have that metal mesh that you can use to transfer the heat and kind of help push down without just melting it all over the tip. Wire brush, and then we have the meltable kind of welding rod, if you will, of the plastic variety. Pretty nice. A little bit thicker than 16 inches, like probably 1/8 inch thick. Yeah, it's good, 1/8 inch thick, and then it's kind of rounded. And you got your little stand to help keep it off of melting or burning anything. And that is the whole kit and caboodle. Looking at the instructions manual, nice little booklet here. It's letting you know the difference between single prongs, double prongs for any insulation for the wires. This is technically just a 2-prong, so it can be used in either or. We have a spot about servicing, safety warnings. It is a hot iron and a hot item that gets up to pretty good temperature. It's not designating what temperature it does get up to, at least in these sections. All your basic electrical. Lets you know for proper amperage and extension cord lengths what you would need for thickness of gauge of the extension cord, which is always nice. Let's see, max temperature is 525 degrees Fahrenheit. Power cord attached to it is an 18 gauge. And 120 volts, 60 hertz. If you have any issues with the unpackaging, here's the number for the company. And this is the good old Chicago Electric brand. Everything once past the warning part just lets you know what each of the items is. You will get 6 items: the welder, repair sticks, reinforcing mesh. So actually, times I've seen people use this, they use that mesh just to kind of help transfer the heat, but otherwise you can use it to reinforce with. So you can cut out little chunks, weld it on, and reinforce with it. Welder stand, wire brush, power cord. Limited 90-day warranty on it, so if anything fails right out of the box or within 90 days, that is from the manufacturer, you can send this to the manufacturer. Otherwise, with good old Harbor Freight, you have your standard 30 days to just bring the tool back in as soon as you see any issues with the tool. Alrighty, so now we're going to plug it in, make sure it turns on good, get it good and hot, and we're going to try to weld some of this and hopefully get this all fixed up and hold them back together. Since they said this is reinforcing mesh, I might try a little bit in the very back. We'll see if I need it. Alrighty, so I've given the iron a little while to warm up. It has gotten pretty warm already. It only took it roughly around 30 seconds to get kind of toasty. I gave it another 30 seconds to a minute to warm up the rest of the way on this little guy right here. I just kind of licked my finger and lightly touched it and you could hear a nice sizzle on there. So I think she is up to temp. So the parts that I'm trying to fix is in the very back, like I was stating earlier. I've wiped the unit down, nothing too crazy with it, but I need to attach it, of course, in the dead center in the back, as well as the corner. And when this broke off and fell, it also hit and broke off this corner here. So those are the points of repair. It's in the back, I'm not too concerned. What they give you is black plastic. Pretty flexible. So we're going to try this out. See how she goes. Alrighty, so I have completed a little project that I had for this that worked out really well. I will be completely honest, this is my first time ever using a plastic welder. I've always had an interest, and I've always had a bit of a kind of fascination to try to play around with it a little bit. I have done soldering before, and I have done some welding before, so the concept makes a lot of sense to me. One suggestion that I did find worked the best for this one is to take the actual end of the pyramid and just bury it in, and that way you get nice even heat and it kind of pushes everything out, and then you can just kind of use the tip to re-push that back in, almost kind of you're doing mudding or any kind of plaster work, same kind of principle. You're removing that material and then pushing it back in. The hot end of that probably is around 525 degrees because it like butter through all of the plastic, which is awesome. As for the little additive strips, I didn't use too much. You can kind of see here I used probably roughly around 1.5 inches of one strip, and that was more or less to kind of add in a few little parts that had broken apart and shattered that I couldn't find in the refrigerator and probably wouldn't have been best to try to heat up and put back in. So that is the main reason I used that. Since it was a black piece of plastic being melted over top of white, I chose to use some spray paint I had laying around to kind of just at least match it up. That was more or less just purely for looks. If I did take just a little bit more time, I could have definitely made it look a lot more pretty and a lot more smooth. I did a little bit of sanding, as you saw in the video there, just to kind of help smooth out any little rough parts that I didn't see, and I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. I may do a little bit more sanding and touch-up of paint a little while later, but otherwise, as far as structure and strength, everything seems to be holding together nicely. And the reason I decided to fix this upper crisper drawer for my Frigidaire refrigerator is that this piece by itself is $70. $69.97 on most sites, and not every site I even offers free shipping. So I'd have to spend another $15 to, in some cases, $30 to ship this one component. So if you are looking at something like this that you need fixed and you don't quite have the right bonding agents to try to work in the back, or you want something a little more structural, I have no doubt that when I melt the plastic together, heat it up, and rebond it all together, add a little extra, that's going to be a lot stronger than most epoxies and other things. because if you don't get an absolute clean 100% through and through bond on some of those, you're creating more of a fracture point than you are a strength point. So I feel this is a lot better method for that. And at $17.99, you're saving yourself a heck of a lot more money than around potentially $100 per piece of plastic just to make a refrigerator be a refrigerator. Which doesn't even help the functionality of the refrigerator, just being able to put items in the refrigerator. So that being said, I feel this product is a definite great addition. It's going to be on the shelf until needed, but at that same point I can reach for that now that the investment has been made, and technically I got it for free, so it's no investment on my part. This is now a 100% free fix that will help save money greatly, and it'll help me save a lot more in the future as it's needed. Like I said, I have more projects lined out for it, so I'm real excited for that. I'm just waiting for the temperature outside to get above freezing and be a little bit more enjoyable for myself. Otherwise, I do have some stuff I need to work on in my truck once it's up and running. And I do need to pull that in the garage, and I will just go to town fixing all sorts of things that have been broken on there. Where I have all the parts, I just literally need to melt them back together. And I don't mind throwing a coat of paint on it at the end where you won't even notice that I even did any bonding or fixing of those products. So if you enjoyed this review, make sure and hit that like button. Hit subscribe if you aren't to the channel. It helps me out greatly. If you want notifications each and every time that a new video comes out on the channel, make sure to hit that notification button. And let me know what you think. Let me know if you enjoyed the video, if you enjoyed the product, if you have any future questions for it, or anything like that, let me know. I try to get to comments as soon and as fast as I can. So please bear with me if you do leave a comment waiting on me. I'll try to get to you as soon as I can. Thanks again, and have yourselves a wonderful day.